Some things you'll need to make this are hot glue, scissors, Aleene's Julep, ribbon, rope rhinestones, wire cutters, a headband, and about 3 yards of tulle. Okay, so what I do is I start right here on one end and I put some hot glue here. You don't want it like, oh, of course now it's not gonna come out. Push it down. Okay, so we put some there and then we're gonna put the end of our ribbon in.
Yes.
And kind of pat it down. Okay, because we want to cover the end of the headband. You don't want to have these little plasticky ends sticking out. So the nice thing is that it's kind of satiny. It's prettier on this side, so we want to make sure that when we get back to wrapping, it goes the right way.
Yeah, you want it to be like silky.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think I probably should have started inside out, but that's okay. So now I'm going to put a little bit more hot glue here on this side.
Oofy.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't shake, but when you're doing hot glue, you shake a lot.
I know, because I don't want to burn myself. Been there, done that. I'm afraid of it. Okay. All right. So.
Oh God.
I'm kind of pulling it out. It's okay. I'm doing it on purpose.
To your fingernails.
It comes right off. Okay. So we're gonna need to kind of bend it up and spin it around, pulling these hot glue gun strings off.
Don't get it on the sweatshirt.
I know. I will try not to. Okay. So, all right. So I think I'm, okay, so there we go. So we have a nice clean end here, right? Look all right to you?
Yeah.
Okay, but now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start wrapping it. So you want the next wrap to hit like right about in the middle of the first wrap, and we'll just keep going around like that, keeping it really smooth. And try to keep it from getting too tangled up in your headband.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of this plastic showing.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you're going to need to open it back up and put some glue here, even on the outside, because if the ends are the part that might come undone and unraveled the most. So you're going to put some glue there to hold it, and then you want to come back on yourself and twist it up a little bit, like at about a 45-degree angle. Wrap around the edge. Oh, it's sticking up a little bit. Let's see. Okay. So.
Oh my Lord.
I know, it's not entirely cooperating this time. Okay.
It's not.
So.
It wants to make you look sloppy.
I know. Okay, so we put a little glue on the other side. Fold it over.
And you're done.
No, you're not quite done. Gonna have to wrap the top because we want it to look just as good as the other side. Ow, hot glue on my hands. Okay, and you end up with all these beautiful hot glue boogies. Okay, yeah, okay. So then we wrap this up around and bring it around to cover our end, okay? And try to get the rest of the hot glue off our hands. Okay, so now that your end is wrapped nice and tight, you want to keep pulling it tight. Okay, and we're gonna put some hot glue here to hold it. You can use other types of glue for this. I recommend hot glue because if you're trying to do this with, say, like a tacky glue or
the Elmer's glue,
so Elmer's, anything like that, you're gonna have to wait for it to dry, and it's gonna ooze out, and then it'll discolor your ribbon. It'll leave stains, especially if you're using a lighter colored ribbon. It's just gonna make a mess. Hot glue is fast, it's clear, it doesn't soak through your ribbon. So that's why I definitely recommend it. Okay, so once your hot glue cools, you're gonna just trim off your ribbon as close as you can without clipping anything there. All right. Okay, so now we've got our headband completely wrapped. And I just wanted to mention that this is something that I do with any DIY headband. I almost always start by wrapping it somehow.
Yeah.
You want to cover up the plastic. And then also once you do that, anything you put on there, it can look really nice. And nobody, I mean, any headband you get in a store, the base is a little cheap plastic headband.
Yeah.
So this is just a great way to get it covered. Makes it a little more comfortable on your head. The ribbon helps it like slide. It doesn't mess up your hair as much. All right, is make our poofs.
Yeah. Because the poofs are like the most important part.
Right, it is all about the poofs. Okay, over there so that it,
Like this?
yeah, I'll cut underneath you so it doesn't.
Cutting your arm like that.
It's okay. It really doesn't have to be
It's
perfect.
choppy.
I know, but you know what? We're seriously, literally wrapping and wadding,
Look
so
at this.
don't look at that. Okay. All right. So we're gonna really wad this together
Yes.
because it needs to be stiff. It's gotta like, you know.
Looks like
Okay.
flour.
It does. I know. So we're gonna have to kind of create like a little bit of a base. All right. So I'm gonna hot glue it.
My lord.
I know. My lord. Okay. A little bit right on here. When I work with,
God, it's smoking.
I know. So that's what I was gonna say though, is that I always worry with certain fabrics when I'm using hot glue is I'm gonna melt the fabric.
Oh God, it smells.
Yeah, maybe we're kind of melting the fabric. We're not gonna be using a ton of it. It's just gonna be here and there to tack
It
it.
smells like egg, raw egg.
Ew.
It doesn't smell.
All right, I'm gonna put a little bit more in here. Now we're at the fun part. So we've
Yeah.
got our two poofs.
Mhm.
They look really good.
They do. They look like
I-
hair.
I know they really they give the effect of like hair.
Yeah. Especially when they're on someone's head.
Right, yeah. I think it's gonna really it's just gonna be really fun. Okay, so now we need to attach them
Mhm.
to the headband. wire. And yes, it's a mess, but it's very thin wire. This is actually wire I've used for crocheting. That's another video. Maybe later, if you guys are interested, leave a comment down below. Maybe I'll do a crochet tutorial with wire. It's really cool. Anyway, so I think that this wire it's super bendy, but it's wire, so it still holds really well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 2 rows of rhinestones and we're gonna take it towards the end. Thank you. Go. All right, and we're just literally, okay, we're gonna make a loop first. Your scissors and your pliers should never look so much alike.
I know.
Okay, so we're gonna make a little bit of a loop, almost like a hook, so we can grab them, put the hooky part in the back, so no one sees it. We're gonna pinch it down really tight. Okay, we don't want to pull them together. We want to make sure they still lay really flat next to each other. We're gonna do something like this because I'm not a huge fan of some of the jewelry glues. They can get really smelly and they don't always work as well as you'd like. And I also don't want to be doing anything like soldering because, well, I just don't have those tools or skills.
What even is soldering?
Soldering is when you use like a certain type of like very soft metal, melt it down to fuse 2 metals together.
That. I didn't even want to do that.
Oh, because you can do really cool things with it. It's like, it's a small scale welding, basically. Okay, so I've kind of just wrapped it around. So I'm going to continue doing that very thing with the rest of it. And then once, because it's on wire, we'll be able to like form it into a little bit of a half circle, just like we want. Okay, so I'm going to go back around this front side one more time. Go.
Wow.
Ta-da. Okay, and now because we're using wire for this, we can also use some of the wire to attach our long drapey rhinestones. Best way to do this is going to be to wrap the ends of the 3 dangly ones together first and then attach them to the top more solid piece, because if we try to attach one and then attach another, that's a lot more work and it's going to give you a headache. And nobody wants a headache.
No one wants a headache.
DIY is supposed to be fun.
A headache.
Not headache inducing.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately sometimes it is. All right.
But not this one. This one's...
No, this is super fun. Okay, wait. So I'm gonna squeeze it, my wire, even a little bit more before I put it around, because the flat part in between my rhinestones is already pretty flat. It's very thin, so I can just slide this. I hope I can make it too flat. Too thin. I did. Awesome.
Oh, boy.
Okay,
Look
yeah,
at that.
because it's wire and things get bent. Like
But
I
then
said, it's a
again-
very thin wire. And so after you're done, you're probably going to have to like reshape it, but that's no big deal, right? We're just going to trim it off. Boom. And we have our first little rhinestone. This one's twisting.
Oh.
Let me leave it here so you can see it. Get everything out
And
of the
now
way.
we make the second one.
And now we make the second one.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got our two little jewelry pieces ready.
Yeah.
Our headband is done. And now we're gonna take our jewellet. Jewellet is really great for attaching metal, jewelry, rhinestones, anything onto fabric. So
Not sponsored by Alien.
this is not sponsored by Aliens, but this is a really amazing product. I've been using it for a long time. So if the glue sits for about 5 minutes before you put this in, it's a little more tacky. It holds stronger because the metal can sometimes slip, and you don't want that to happen. So, all right. So what we need to do, let me pull this around so I can see it a little better. All right, so we want this to fit like right about there, right?
Yep.
Okay, so for sure we need to put glue like here and here. These are stiff, they're not gonna fall. We don't need to attach it if we attach them like right here and here. So just a little over 1 inch apart. So we're gonna put a drop here and a drop here. Now the thing with the jewellet is it looks like a lot, and
It's a lot.
yeah, but I mean you don't want it drippy and gooey, but the funny thing with it is that it'll take like overnight to dry, but as it dries it shrinks up and it gets clear. I've used this on t-shirts with lots of embellishments and you don't see the glue. So don't panic when you see these big drops of glue going on there. Okay, so this one again, like right about there.
No.
Okay, so we're gonna put our glue. Okay, all right, so we're gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes. We'll press this in and then it's gonna have to dry overnight.
Yep.